Karoline Leavitt, National Press Secretary for the Trump team. Karoline, good morning to you and welcome to our program. I've seen a number of statements come out from the RNC. The Trump campaign's reaction on this election is what?
Well, choosing a running mate is Kamala Harris's first big decision as the Democrat Party's nominee. And with this decision, choosing Tim Walz, she has proven just how dangerously liberal she is. Tim Walz is one of the most far-left governors in America. Much like Kamala Harris, he supports wide-open borders. He supports sanctuary cities. In Minnesota, he signed a bill giving licenses to illegal immigrants. Tim Walz, like Kamala Harris, is soft on crime. He also supports the defund the police movement. In fact, in Minnesota, violent crime has increased by 21% since he has been governor. And like Kamala Harris, Tim Walz is anti-American energy. He signed a bill to ban carbon-based fuels in Minnesota by 2040. That is a threat to our national security. That is a gift to China. If Americans want to know what a Harris-Walz America would look like, look at the streets of Minneapolis in the summer of 2020 when they were literally burned to the ground. Look at the streets of San Francisco. Their liberal utopia is every American's worst nightmare, and we'll spend the next 92 days ensuring every American knows how radical the Harris-Walz ticket is.
Karoline, Governor Walz has not shied away from directly attacking the Trump-Vance ticket. Here he is in another network less than 2 weeks ago, actually less than a week ago, taking a direct hit. Listen.
Keep hammering on these guys. This idea of calling them out for who they are, shrink them. Is he a danger to society? Yes. Is he a danger to women's health? Yes. Is he a danger to world peace? Yes.
A danger to society.
I think the real danger to society, the real threats to democracy are Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, again, who support defunding the police. I heard a threat to women's health. As a woman, I think there's no greater threat to our health than leaders who support gender transition surgeries for young minors, who support putting tampons in men's bathrooms in public schools. Those are radical policies that Tim Walz supports. He actually signed a bill to do that. He supports men in women's sports. That's a real threat to women and girls across this country. These people are radical. And again, we will make sure every American understands just how radical they are. And the people of Minnesota understand how radical of a governor Tim Walz has become. That's why it's a longtime blue state, but we're going on offense in that state. And it is now in play for President Trump. We've opened 8 offices there. We're going to continue to campaign in Minnesota because his own constituents realize how much of a failure he's been, and we'll make sure the rest of the country understands that as well.
Trump was there in St. Cloud about a week ago, I do believe. Good crowd, 90-degree weather. I do believe he had about 10,000 inside, and the campaign suggests they had at least 10,000 more outside. You're about 60 miles northwest of Minneapolis. So we'll see whether or not you're right. Kamala Harris, a moment ago on X, here it is. I'm proud to announce, she writes, that I've asked Tim Walz to be my running mate. As a governor, a coach, a teacher, and a veteran, he's delivered for working families like his. It's great to have him on the team. Now let's get to work. She calls him a battle-tested leader. Your reaction?
Well, neither Kamala Harris nor Tim Walz have done anything for working families. Kamala Harris has 100% supported Bidenomics, which she is now trying to run away from, which we know created the worst inflation crisis in a generation. Kamala Harris is the border czar. She's allowed a mass invasion of more than 11 million illegal people that we know of. Just yesterday, we learned during Kamala Harris's tenure as border czar, there's been 99 known terrorists that have entered our country. Border Patrol, they were flagged as terrorists, and the Biden-Harris administration still allowed them to enter this country. So Kamala Harris needs to answer for her record. By the way, it's been more than 2 weeks since she's become the appointed Dem Party nominee. She has not sat down for an interview. Her campaign website does not include any policy plans, and she refuses to commit to a debate on this network with President Trump because she's trying to run from her record. But again, this vice presidential pick with Tim Walz as her running mate makes them the most far-left ticket in American history. They would be a danger to America. If we have 4 years of this, America as we know her, as we love her, will literally cease to exist. Both of them need to sit down and answer tough questions to the press about their dangerously liberal records that have left chaos and destruction in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, in San Francisco, in California, where they both hail from.
Karoline, real quick before we let you go, does the Trump-Vance campaign believe that Governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, would have been a more formidable opponent, that he would have been a better pick for the Harris ticket?
No, we were ready to respond to anyone that Kamala Harris chose as her vice presidential running mate. The reality is the Democrat Party has moved so far left, it's unrecognizable these days. But I think Kamala Harris not choosing Josh Shapiro does prove President Trump's point that the Democrat Party, unfortunately, has become the party of anti-Semitism. They've become the party of catering to the far left demands of Hamas sympathizers in this country. And that's probably why she didn't choose Josh Shapiro. But again, you're going to have to ask her that if she ever sits down for an interview.
Karoline, thank you for jumping on. Karoline Leavitt with the Trump team.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.